And travel has been sloppy. Pleased to say I made it to Oaklawn here for Arkansas Derby. I'm even more pleased to say I got out of New Orleans. Maybe some of you didn't see, but there was a little bit of trouble with the TSA lines at Louis Armstrong International Airport this past Sunday. My colleague Joe Talamo slept in the terminal. I made my flight by the skin of my chin, and I did so by running through security and arriving there 4.5 hours early. It was nuts, and I was pleased to get home so I could get here. We got a lot going on this week, but today we have a special guest that I'm going to bring in right away because he has one of the best Louisiana breds of all time who just won back-to-back runnings of the New Orleans Classic. Of course, I'm talking about former NFL Pro Bowler and Super Bowl quarterback Jake Delhomme, who's joining us right now. Jake, how you doing, my man?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and you look fantastic, sir. How you doing?
I'm hearing just music.
Uh-oh. Well, I don't have much of a singing voice, my friend.
Okay,
But
now I
me
can
now?
hear you.
Oh,
Perfect.
all right.
There was the music blaring. I only heard the music.
Oh, that's all right. We wanted to make sure we set the table for you. Hey, first of all, I wanted to say congratulations with Touch Upon
Thank
a
you.
Star. And we caught up with you after the race, and obviously it was, you were extremely happy. But I actually want to talk about something you said in that interview that I think might have gotten lost in it, is that you said even though he had to beat Sierra Leone last year, you
Yeah.
said this year's running of the New Orleans Classic was a little bit tougher. Take us into the mind of the owner and the race and how it unfolded and why you thought it was such a trying test of his ability.
Well, I just think how the race was going to set up. Last year, there wasn't a ton of speed in the race, and we just kind of thought we were gonna be loose, in essence. And that's kind of how it played out. And listen, Sierra Leone was coming off of a 4 or 5 month break. And Hall of Fame was in there, and we knew that, but we were going to get away. We just felt that way. And the fractions, when you watch the fractions of that race, you just knew like, okay, we're going to kick away. We're at the head of the lane. This race, you knew it was going to be some serious fractions, and you knew the horses were going to go and how. And then I think for me, Marcelino, first time riding him, love him. Did his homework, but Timmy Thornton always they got along so well. Timmy's a very patient rider, and they just got along well, and he knows his rhythm. And we tell people when Timmy comes to work him, because he usually comes every time we kind of work him. When Touch Upon a Star hears Timmy's voice, he starts weaving. Yeah, he knows. Okay, I'm not just galloping today. I'm working. I've been laughing about it for a couple of years, and I've told people this, and like they'll see Touch can't see him or anything, and Timmy will come and he's talking to everybody, and all of a sudden he perks up and he knows, okay, I'm doing something. So there was all that factor, and like I told Marcelino, hey bud, like you're the doctor. Go ahead. Don't be afraid if they want to ship. Don't be afraid to sit off of him and just let him. He's going to get in a good rhythm. But I said, you got to play the brake. I mean, I've never ridden a horse in my life in a race.
Yeah.
He had 60 plus wins at the fairgrounds meet, and so and he did a great job because he got him away, especially to get to that first turn and kind of get in a good rhythm. Still fast fractions though.
No, but he did it comfortably. I've learned this, and one of the masters of it on the West Coast, Mike Smith. He's not afraid to go fast. It's not about how fast they go; it's about how comfortable they do it. And we saw that from Touch Upon a Star. I mean, he was going fast, but he was always within himself.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way he runs, And I've had so many people. Listen, he's fairly lightly raced for his age, and yeah, maybe we could have squeezed the lemon a couple of times. And you have people that, hey, oh, he won so easy, you're gonna go back in this spot. Like, well, fast horses run fast. Like it might look like he's doing it easy, but he's giving it to you. I mean, like they need to recover and come out of it, And so it might look that way, but they give it to you. There's an exertion level that at least we believe they kind of give it to you, and you let them.
Since then, I mean, I emptied out his feed tub, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, he has. He'll always leave just a little, but I think a lot of it is he gets very wound up after the race. And it's something I've got videos, a little text stream with a bunch of my buddies, horse buddies, and we laugh about it. After the race, when he gets back in the stall, he is like a tiger. I mean, it just he hasn't come down yet, and he weaves, but it's not in a bad way. It's just he gets really worked up. And we drive back with him that night. So that's a 2.5 hour drive back that night. By the time we get back, so he might leave a little bit that night, but he's doing really well. I actually gave him an extra day as we're taping this on Thursday morning. Probably usually would go with him today, and we probably could have. But we just gave him an extra day. He'll go tomorrow. He loves to go out and graze. I mean, he's a horse that we graze a good amount. And he loves to go out and graze. And here's the ironic thing: we had a training center, and he grazes right next to the track, and there's horses galloping, breezing, and it's like nothing bothers him. Doesn't turn a hair, and that's just him. He likes in that environment.
So, I suffice to say, he's the best horse you've ever owned, correct?
uh, by miles, by miles. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've had pieces of a couple of them. That I've done some pin hooking with a buddy of mine who's no longer with us. Al Pike passed away last year, and I've done a lot of pin hooking with Al, and I was kind of one of the silent guys. And we've had some success with horses that have gone on, but nothing to where there's a direct ownership and things like that. But by a mile.
So I'm always fascinated by, racing jurisdictions that have a lot of provincial pride. And Louisiana is the utmost example of that. The first time I met you was at the Keeneland sale.
Yeah.
I want to say it was 2015 or somewhere thereabouts, but maybe before that. And there were a number of people from Louisiana, and I'm always impressed by the Louisiana breeding program. I saw it from the quarter horse side for years, but on the
Correct.
thoroughbred side as well. Going out there, getting those good pedigrees, and trying to bring them back into Louisiana. What is it about? What is it about Louisiana racing that makes everyone so proud of it and so provincial? And you guys, I'll let you be the commercial for the Louisiana breeders. I mean, you guys have had increased foal crops, which is totally
Right.
against the grain. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of good there in Louisiana with the racing.
Yeah, we think so. I think we get a extreme negative picture from the national because, with the HISA stuff, but like, think of our jockeys, right? We produce numerous Hall of Fame jockeys that are outstanding. And those jockeys have gone on, and there's many of them that probably didn't want to leave that could have gone on to done just as well. Had great careers in Louisiana because they wanted to be here. It's a fun way of life.
Yeah.
And family is very important. And I think the same way with many of these trainers. I promise you, there's a lot of trainers here that they can go to another circuit, quote unquote, bigger, and they would do just fine. I think the horsemanship, I think that's one of the biggest things you learn from a young age. FanDuel did a little clip leading up to the race, and they came visit with us in February, spent all morning with us, and I sent them some pictures, and they showed it during those clips. 1981, I'm 6 years old. I'm sitting on the back of a horse at a bush track after a race, sitting on a jockey, like taking a picture. Like, you grew up. That's what you did way back when. Now, listen, I'm 51, so it's been a while. Those things are not there anymore, but it was such a way of life, and it was such a part of life. And, I can remember going to Delta Downs because we were in the quarter horse world until 1993. And kids weren't allowed on the front side, and it was just a packed house, and I couldn't wait for that day when I could get on the front side. And I might have looked at 15 years old, was able to sneak in one day, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And there was just those young kids that it's a way of life, and you love it. And it just kind of gets inside of you. And so that's why I think we're so proud of who we are, is because, yeah, it's a business, but like, there's a pride thing. You love it. You love compete. You love taking care of a horse or raising a baby. Because our breeding program, it's unbelievable. I mean, think about it. And I'm gonna get on my soapbox. First, second, and third in any type of race, any race in Louisiana, you're getting a breeders award, and also out of state. And there's some out of country breeders awards. I mean, like, it's not like Kentucky, where I believe it's just main special allowance or stakes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's any race. It's and we have 4 tracks in Louisiana, and we run year round. It's you have a ton of
You have four
opportunities.
tracks, and there's always two running at the same time. I mean,
Yeah,
it's never just
exactly.
one track.
Right, exactly. And Delta starts, early mid October-ish, and so they're by themselves for about 5, 6 weeks, and then they finished toward the end of February. So the fairgrounds, love to kind of separate those two, start a little earlier at Delta and finish a little earlier. So you give Delta 2 months by themselves because you start to get the influx of horses coming from the north, right?
Yeah.
When the wintertime, when those tracks close, and give the fairgrounds, February, March by themselves. That would be awesome. You know,
Do you ever mess around with quarter horses anymore? Or are you all thoroughbreds?
no, not anymore, man. We made the switch in '93, and never looked back. And I almost dabbled a few years back at the we went to the quarter horse sale a few years in a row, and almost dabbled. Um, but just I don't know. I just kind of I love the thoroughbreds. I
Yeah.
just absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, I like the quarter horse racing in Louisiana is excellent as well, and
It
especially with
is.
the Louisiana Breeders Program. But there's a lot of great farms out there.
Okay, I'm gonna
It
ask you. I'm
literally,
gonna ask you a question.
yeah.
Who's the best quarter horse ever? I have
So
one, and I'm so biased. Yeah, I have one.
okay, so I personally think it's refrigerator because I saw a refrigerator, right? So
Okay.
I was, like, and I try to put this in terms for thoroughbred people to understand. He won the All American Futurity and 3 Champion of Champions. That would be like a horse winning the Derby and then winning the
Yeah.
Breeders' Cup Classic three
Yeah.
times, right? It like
Right.
so in my head, it's refrigerator.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you there, but like it's so impressionable to me. I saw Brigand Silk running the trials for the Rainbow, and I was young. I don't even know, it was the early '80s, and I remember seeing like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And Brigand Silk always just it was so impressionable. And Ryan Robichaux of Robichaux Ranch, massive quarter horse breeders in the industry. I've been knowing Ryan forever, and like I'll always say, best quarter horse ever, Brigand Silk, and he just laughs at me. But that's kind of what's in my brain.
So it's funny you mentioned Ryan Robichaux, and we've lost like 90% of our thoroughbred viewers with Ryan Robichaux. But one of the first times I was in Louis, I think it was when I went to Louisiana for in 2011 at Delta for the Delta Jackpot. But I connected with Ryan and I went to the Robichaux farm and their quarter horse they had like Game Patriot and like all
Correct.
these great quarter horse sires and I was just blown away. Oak Tree Special was standing there, like all these champions. It was so much fun to go out there. They do a great job, and I mean, but that's Louisiana. I mean, you could the thoroughbred and quarter horse breeders there. They're constantly kicking out new pedigree lines, and they're always bringing in that new blood. Which I want to get back to touch upon a star. So now
Sure.
he's won the New Orleans Classic twice. Everyone's asking you the question and pressuring you, and I'm going to do the same thing.
Sure.
Are you tempted to take him to like a race like the Ali Sheba or something at Churchill and run him against Open Company on one of those big days?
Absolutely. There's no doubt. And this is the honest truth. We were we were gonna go last year to the Ali Sheba, and my youngest daughter, it was their senior mass. It was the end of the year, and like it's a big deal, and like just we weren't gonna miss it. It is what it is, and so yeah, I'm looking. I wish the Oaklawn handicap was about 2 or 3 weeks later. I think that comes up pretty quick. I would love to kind of go run there, have another daughter and son-in-law that live in Arkansas, not far from there. That might be a little quick. Ali Sheba's on the radar. We've done the Steve Sexton Mile 3 years in a row. He ran 2 great seconds. And then last year, yeah, it's an excuse. He hated the track. It was just complete quagmire, and he just didn't like it. That's possibly. And it's gonna sound so odd, but like he's gonna tell us, Mike. I know that sounds crazy. Like he's gonna let us know. All right, where we need to start looking, start pointing. We're gonna nominate to a few things and then kind of go from there. Because in essence, everything here in Louisiana now is probably null and void for him. Meaning like um, in early June at Evangeline is the Legends Night, and that's
Yep.
a turf race, mile on the 16th turf, and I don't think I want to do that. And really after that, Louisiana Downs has a Cup Day, but that's another turf race, and so we even toyed with the idea last year of going to um, Charlestown Classic,
Yeah.
right? Or should I say the Skippy Longstockings Invitational? He seems like he just dominates that. We
He
toyed
wins
with
it
the
every
idea
year.
of that, but it was more or less, man, we wouldn't give him his normal little break in the summer and things of that nature.
All right. So we'll see where, and I
Yeah.
get it. Like he'll tell you the horse will let you know what he's ready for, and that's why he's been running at such a high level for so long. Is you got to let the horse tell you what he's ready for, and if you abide by the horse, if you take care of the horse, he'll take care of you.
Yeah, 100%. But Mike, that was the way we grew up. That's what I learned. When we were all quarter horses, they ran from like April 1st until Labor Day, and then it shut down till the next year. So
Yeah.
I saw those quarter horses run, and then they got turned out in the pasture. And I point because I'm next door, where the horses got turned out. And then we brought them back. We started back with them, and they ran again and they lasted. They lasted year after year after year, and I don't know. Maybe that's always kind of stuck with me about horses can continue to get better. You just give them time, especially if they get a little time. If they get a little sour, and you can tell when they're sour, their hair might start turning the other way, or they just don't love what they're doing. But just get a little break, get a little sun on their back. They just that vitamin D is natural, man. They come
Yeah.
back.
Let me ask you this. You had a great career in the NFL. You're calling games for the Panthers with Luke Kuechly. You have any NFL friends you try to bring over to horse racing? You ever try to say, hey, check this game out a little bit?
You know what? Some of them enjoy it, but they're so they just don't understand. I think that's the big thing. Like we always had mini camp the weekend after the draft. That
Right.
was when I was playing. So the draft's always the last weekend in April. Well, what's the next weekend? Kentucky Derby weekend, right?
Right.
So I would literally run off the practice field in Charlotte because you had two practices Friday, two Saturday, one Sunday, and I would sprint into the equipment room, the training room, and watch the Derby because that's about the time it would go off when we're coming off the field. And all the guys were in there. Why you don't have anything in the Derby? And I'm like, you don't understand. Well, no, I don't understand. I said, buddy, you have to have a 3-year-old that's got to run on this Saturday, the
Yeah.
3-year-old year, the first Saturday in May. I mean, the dot is so small to
Yeah.
get there. And I said, I run in Louisiana because I'm a part of their, I'm Louisiana boy, right? That's
Yeah.
what I enjoy. So there's some, and I love seeing the Jason Worth stuff. I absolutely love it. Eric Johnson, the hockey player, I met him a few years back. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
I love the Toby Keith aspect. I mean, he loved it. I met him at Keeneland January one year, and I think I was still playing. I mean, he's just walking in the back by himself with a beanie on. I mean, like that's one of my favorite things in the world is to be by myself in the back ring and just watching horses and stuff like that. It's such a great game. And I wish more would kind of come over. They love going to the Derby, all the buddies and things of that nature. They absolutely love it. So I wish more would kind of start to make the crossover.
Okay, one more football question. How are your
Yeah.
Panthers looking this year? And
We're-
on an ancillary, how are my Bears looking this year?
Yeah, listen, I'm a big fan of the Bears, and I'll tell you why. One of my best friends is the assistant general manager, Jeff King. I played with in Carolina for 6 years. He was about 10 years younger than me, and kind of took him under my wing. We hit it off, and we stay in touch. And so I'm a big follower of the Bears. I like what Ryan Poles has done. It's taken a little time. They built this thing correctly, and they got the right coach. I think that's evident. This guy, and you got a Houdini at quarterback. So, yeah, the Bears I think are one of those teams. That's a tough division though, man. I mean that division. That division is salty. Now Carolina, I think we're 3 years behind. I thought we should have made this move 3 years earlier. It just took a little while for us to find the right coach, I guess you could say, and
Yeah.
Dave Canales, and then Dan Morgan, the GM, ex-teammate of mine, Brant Tillis, the salary cap guru. We're aligned. We're going in the right direction. Bryce Young, so much was made early on his rookie year because Stroud was playing well. Like we're going in the right direction. We're drafting well. We're putting pieces together. We backed into the playoffs. I get it, but you know the two best teams in football, and it wasn't even close in my opinion, were Seattle and the Rams. I mean,
Right.
the NFC Championship was the Super Bowl,
Right.
And I saw it firsthand. I saw Seattle twice firsthand. The Rams twice. Then I saw Seattle, and Seattle. I remember saying, Luke and I talking right after. Yeah, that's the best team in football. You
Right.
just saw it. But I think we're coming. Draft's going to be huge. Can you hit on the draft? I mean, buddy, going to the yearling sale. Can you hit? I mean,
Yeah,
that's what it is. Can
it
you
really
hit?
is.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, that that's kind of the way it is. Can you hit?
Can you hit that? And we'll leave it at that. I've got one more thing for you. We got a little game I play with all my guests.
All right.
It's a little quiz show. It's called Cinco de Cinco. It is 5 questions
Okay.
designed for you to either get right or get wrong. But some of them I groove a couple for you.
Okay.
The first one will be good. You ready, Rock?
Yeah.
Okay. The sire of Touch Upon a Star, Star Guitar, one of the great all-time Louisiana breads. What was Star Guitar's record? And I just want starts and wins. You don't got to give me second or third. Starts and wins. What was Star Guitar's race record?
Ooh, buddy. I would
Oh,
have
yeah.
no idea. 20. I know he had like 20 or 20 plus wins, but to say his race record, I don't know.
All right, you're close, man. He was 30 starts, 24 wins.
Okay.
30 starts, 24 wins. It's not far off from Touch Upon a Star.
Wow, it's crazy.
All right, this one's easy. This
All
one's
right.
easy for a Louisiana boy. Okay, quarter horse Hall of Fame trainer Paul Jones. He's won 3 All-American Futurities.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard of him. What movie does Paul Jones watch every year the night before the All-American for inspiration?
Was the movie filmed in the 70s?
It sure was.
Was Walter Matthau the main actor?
He sure was.
And was Sanders Stallone my grandfather in the movie?
I believe he was.
Casey Shadow. I know every
Yeah.
line of that movie. My grandfather is serving Walter Matthau a beer at Karen Crow Raceways early on in the movie, serving him a beer and speaking to him in Cajun French, and Walter Matthau responds to him in French.
That's amazing. I didn't know
My
that.
favorite movie of all time.
It is, and here's the thing: it is the greatest horse racing movie ever made, and it's the most accurate. I tell people the way it is depicted. It doesn't romanticize it. It doesn't denigrate it. It represents horse racing. It splits the uprights perfectly. That is the most accurate representation of
Can I give
racing
you
I've
a
ever seen
little
on film.
a little story? So my grandfather, he was very well known in this region. And they wanted to get someone to depict a Cajun to play cards. When they were going to film that day, my grandfather said, got to bale hay. And they were like, my aunt was like, no, daddy, we have to go do this filming. Oh, no, babe, we're baling hay today. Baling
Baling hay is
hay.
important.
My daddy said a Cadillac drives up is the producer. And he's like, where's Sanders Stallone? They said he's on the tractor. And he went and said, you have to, and he said, let me tell you something, partner. He said, this hay is way important in that little movie you're shooting right now. He said, I'm gonna come when I'm done. I kid you not. And they waited on him. Yeah. So that's a fact. That's a fact.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's the best little thing we've ever pulled out of this podcast.
I'm telling you, that's a fact.
All right, you are 1 for 2. We got 3 questions left. On the all-time leading passing yards in Panthers history, number 1 is Cam Newton. Number 2 is Jake Delhomme. Who's number 3?
It's either one of two guys. I mean, it's either Bryce or Steve Berline. And honestly, I can't remember how many years Berline was there.
You got to go with one.
Oh, it's Berline.
It's Berline.
Yeah, Berline.
It'll be Bryce about 3 games in. He's
okay. Yeah, Berline had a ridiculous year, a couple of years, but 1999 they were ridiculous throwing the football in Carolina.
Okay, so you're 2 for 3. All right, this one there's no way you can know, so it's just a guessing game. I have been to 3 of the 4 major racetracks in Louisiana. Which one have I not been to?
You have not been to Louisiana Downs.
That's correct, and I told you that last year when we were talking. I wondered if you remember it, but yes. Okay, so you are 3 for 4, and this is the last one, and I think this will be pretty easy for you. It's not the obvious. What was the first racetrack ever in Louisiana? The first established racetrack ever in the state of Louisiana.
Gosh. I mean, it's got to be Fairgrounds or Jefferson Downs, but it's got to be, I'm assuming Fairgrounds. I mean, it's 100 plus. I don't know.
The old Metairie Racecourse,
Oh
established
wow,
in 1838, and they tore it down in 72. It became a cemetery after the Civil War.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Metairie Racecourse. It wasn't far from Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds with the second, but the old Metairie Racecourse. So a little bit of history. 3 for 5. It's a passing grade, my friend. D's get
Okay.
degrees.
It's okay. No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Yeah, the star guitar. I knew it was 20 in the 20 wins. I didn't know total starts.
Listen, it was great having you on here. I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy. I know you're just coming from the barns as well, because I know it's an early morning. But look, best of luck. I hope to see Touch Upon a Star wherever he ends up next. I just hope I get the lucky straw and I get to go cover his race.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Listen, I hope so. You know, he's. We'll see. I mean, we're not. That's one thing. Like, we're not ducking competition. We're not of things like that. It's like we're gonna do what's right for the horse, and I'm not. I've got a very small ego when it comes to, like, when I go to a sale. My ego, like, I have a value I put on a horse, and like it's you can't just, oh, I'm definitely buying that one. No, I mean, it's got to be a price point. It's got to work. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see. Same thing with Touch. I'm gonna do what's right by him.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're not ducking competition, because I read yesterday that journalism might show up in the Alley Shiva. Just throw
I mean,
that.
hey, listen, he's awesome. I
He
thought
really
I
is.
thought I thought he was a cinch, not a cinch. I thought he was a Derby winner last year. I just thought he was different. But you know, maybe Bill Mott knows a thing or two after the Florida Derby when he said, "Yeah, this was exactly what we needed." It's okay. I guess he
I,
told us.
other than point given, I can't think of too many horses better than journalism not to win the Derby, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm still stung. Epicenter. That was one. I
right.
just didn't. I thought he's gonna win it, man. You just kind of, man. That was, and I thought I, I thought he was gonna win it. You know, I didn't see Rich Strike coming. That's for sure.
Well, and I kind of I like things to make sense in the universe, and like Steve Asmussen not having a Derby win at this point to me doesn't make sense. He's not mentioned enough as one of as the greatest trainer to throw a saddle over the horse. He's done things nobody else has done in the game, and there's just that donut in the Kentucky Derby. I wanted Epicenter to win just because I want the racing world to make sense.
Yeah, he'll win one. He's you know, he'll win one. It's I think it's inevitable. He'll win one.
All right. Hey, thank you for your time,
Yeah.
Jake. Have a great time with Touch Upon a Star. Keep us posted on his goings on. And I know you have fun calling those games with your boy Luke. I mean, you guys are tight. You guys do a great job. I actually caught half of a game. It's hard for me to get you guys where I'm out in
Right.
California. I actually caught half of one, and it was a great broadcast.
We enjoy it, you know. And listen, I know I have my accent and all that, but it's funny. Carolina, they just embraced me when I was there, and I was their Carolina Cajun, and you know, it's pretty funny. And Luke and I do it, and you know, I think they feel our passion, our love. We bleed Carolina blue, right? And so I think
Yeah.
they feel it. And man, we've had some lean years, buddy. Yeah, we've had some lean years. We're looking forward to, you know, I think we're coming. We're on our way. We're coming.
Hey, you made the playoffs, man. And if you keep, it's like a
Yeah,
horse,
you
man.
just
You gotta break your maiden, then you gotta get up to a allowance company. Then you can start testing those stakes waters, man. You guys broke your maiden, you got into the playoffs. Now you got to take that next step.
I love it. I love it. Man, how about that? NFC Championship game, Chicago and Carolina. Huh?
Hey, if that happens, you got to get me tickets, man. All right, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, you got it. If it's in Carolina, I can. If it's in Chicago, I don't know.
All right, well,
Uh,
I'll call some of my friends in Chicago, but if it's in Carolina, man,
Perfect. You
we'll
got it.
be talking. All right,
You
hey
got it.
everyone, Jake Delhomme, thank you so much. We'll see you again for sure, brother.
Okay, man. Thank you, Mike.
All right, Jake Delhomme, couldn't be happier to have him on the program here. What a great great interview we got. Okay, we're gonna move on. That's gonna be hard to top. Jake is very gracious for him to join us, and that's a world class animal and Touch Upon a Star. And you know, last year when he won the New Orleans Classic, he was a little bit better of a price. He was expected to do it this year, but when you listen to the inside of how you expect a horse to run versus what they're facing, another example of pace making the race, right? Because even though the competition was tougher last year with Sierra Leone and Hall of Fame, this year the pace scenario was against him, and you could see it in the post race. Also, we did a great feature before that race. It's on our social channels with Jake and Jeff and his dad and the whole operation they have there. It's fantastic, but. that was great. That was a lot of fun. Jake Delhomme, great guy, and you can tell he just loves the sport. So that's that. Let's move along here. By the way, we don't have sponsors other than FanDuel. I'm supposed to do all the sponsor reads. Sign up for an account at FanDuel Racing. There's stuff. We were doing 10-50, bet 10 get 50 the other day. We're doing money back special on all the prep races. We got Arkansas Derby, Florida Derby. We're gonna know a lot more about the Kentucky Derby picture by Sunday. But my producer likes to torture me. So now we're going to try and have me do some predictive rankings with the Rose rankings, and we're going to do this like the Sweet 16. So here's the dealio. We ranked the top 16 Derby prospects as it stand right now, and then I filled out this bracket. I'm going to fill it out for you now. Well, let's take a look at how this bracket unfolds in real time. Well, as I produce it in real time. So let's go upper left. We got the first matchup, and I'm going to talk you through these. Got the first matchup of Paladin and where are we? We hit play here. Let's take a look here. Let's go Paladin and Intrepido. Here's the thing. I hate doing this because I really like Intrepido, right? I think he's got a lot of talent, but he's got a lot to prove, and I think he's up against it going into the Sanity Derby, and there's questions. So I'm not going to go against Paladin. So Intrepido's out. Paladin wins the first matchup. In this, I'm going to write in Paladin there. And in this matchup, I'm really tempted to take Silent Tactic over Renegade this weekend, but I think Potente has the potential to be any sort for Bob Baffert, and he is the best of the Baffert prospects. You better believe he's making it to the Derby. And we'll see what he can do with Litmus Test here. I think Litmus Test is showing that he's not as good as these. Stark Contrast, not impressed. Nearly, very impressed. Do I think he wins the Florida Derby? I kind of think he does. I think he's a little forgotten at this point. Here's the matchup I really didn't want to have in the first round. Incredible, I think, is sneaky good. I think he's going to be disparaged because of the 1 turn mile and eighth, but talking to Riley Mott, it sounded like he loved that as a prep with 7 weeks. That final eighth was sensational, even if it was a fast track. But Incredible, I don't know that he matches up against Renegade. Renegade might be the best horse not to win a major prep race at this point. I know he won the Sam F. Davis, but I think Renegade is going to be double tough in the Florida Derby, and that's going to be the matchup in the next bracket, right? In the Elite Eight. So Chief Wallaby and Universe. I've never been high on Universe. I think he's just a cup below these. Chief Wallaby, I don't think Full Effort's going to love it either. I think, he's a synthetic horse at this point. And the Puma, I think, is a real deal. This Florida Derby is just stacked. Wallaby, Puma, Nearly. It is a tough bunch. Commandment. I don't think Pavlovian is a bad horse. I think he legitimately ran a very good race, but Commandment at this point has just established himself as, with that win in the Fountain Youth, he's at the top of this class. Pavlovian with a rough draw in the first round. So we got Commandment there. Fade and Golden Tempo for class president. I think Golden Tempo gets a piece of it in the Derby. I really do. I think this is a horse that if they can ever get him closer, right? They put the blinkers on, but still, he didn't have a great start to that race in the Louisiana Derby. Class president really impressed me here in the Rebel. And we'll see him in the Bluegrass. But he's a nice runner. So we'll go on class president here. So let's zoom out to the Elite Eight. So our Elite Eight is class president, Commandment, the Puma, Chief Wallaby. And then you got Paladin, Potente, Nearly, and Renegade. So I'm going to get a little goofy here. I'm crossing out Paladin and going Potente. I think this is just because of the draw, and I'm just not going to do without Baffert come Derby time. So Potente beats Paladin, Nearly, and Renegade. They're separated. They're both Baffert runners. I think Nearly is the better of the two. We'll see. I mean, I've got Renegade running here soon in Arkansas for the Arkansas Derby. That's why I'm at Oaklawn. But I think Nearly's the better horse. I think Chief Wallaby's better than the Puma. So sorry, Puma. I think he's got a ton of ability, but I think Chief Wallaby's a beast. And then I think Commandment's better than Class President. So now we got Commandment versus Chief Wallaby, Potente versus Nearly. I'm going to zig here where others are going to zag, right? Nearly and Potente is a tough matchup. Do I think Baffert gets another Derby this year? He's bringing a whole string. I don't know. I don't know, but is it nearly or is it Patente? I don't even know who I picked here. I forgot. It was like 10 minutes ago I filled this out. So I'm going to go Patente. That's what I did. I hemmed and hawed back and forth. So I think it's going to be the matchup for the championship. The exacta is Chief Wallaby and Patente. Chief Wallaby and Patente. And the winner between those two, Patente and Chief. I didn't realize I did this so slowly. Boy, I gave myself a lot of verbiage. I'm going Chief Wallaby. I think back-to-back years, Bill Mott wins back-to-back runnings of the Kentucky Derby. Chief Wallaby on this. I don't know that this is how I'm going. I don't know that Chief Wallaby is going to be my Derby pick. I did this bracket 5 and 6 times, and I never came up with a horse that I was like, oh, yes, that's my Derby horse. But in order to do that, right, I'm going to need to like sneak Incredible past Renegade and in a matchup. Maybe I should have done that. I didn't think he would beat Nearly, though. I don't know. I like all these horses. They're all fantastic. But according to my Rose rankings in the Sweet 16, and I got back-to-back Bill Motts, Hall of Fame trainer. He's capable of doing it. So that was our segment. I don't know how that went. I tried my best, Justin. I tried my best. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed that. But now it's time. I gotta get the right hat on. We had to move this segment off the big show because it was had a bad word in it. So we were told you're not allowed to say bastard. Well, we couldn't name it bastard. So I gotta get my tuna back up. Anyway, I still want to do it, but we're not gonna say bastard. So we're gonna call One Fast Son Bitch. And I don't know if that's any better, but we're calling that. Time for your favorite song. We got one fast son bitch running down there at Fairgrounds this past weekend. I hope you saw his name is Englishman. Now, they put him on the shelf longer than orange juice at the liquor store, but he came off it fresh as a daisy. And look at him flying home here. You look in the background, you can see Brad Pitt. They're filming a sequel to F1, and they ain't going to call it F2. But he's saying, Jose, slow down. You're going too damn fast on that horse. Englishman, look at him. He's geared down like nothing. He's 15 lengths in front of these horses. That's a bunch of good horses. He made them look cheap. They were stuck to the rail like they had bubble gum on their bridle. Englishman's one fast son bitch. I tell you what, they're going to run him in the Pat Day Mile. He could run 3 of them before they ran 1. That's your fastest son bitch I ever seen. So don't say bastard because it's a bad word. But that Englishman, I tell you what, for Charade DeVoe and CRK Stable, that is one fast son bitch. Thank you for joining us here on Sloppy Enough. Get yourself some whiskey, watch some horse racing. Thanks to Jake Delhomme for joining us. And we'll see you again next time on Sloppy Enough. This stuff tastes terrible.